Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Will Alexis adopt Ava's plan to throw Rick to the wolves? According to General Hospital spoilers, Ava Jerome's audacious decision to extend an olive branch to Alexis Davis was predicated on Monday's previews. Ava is upset that Rick Lansing left her to pursue his ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Baldwin, and seems determined to hold him accountable for his betrayal. Ava could be planning to toss Rick to the wolves because of her penchant for retribution, but what's her issue with Alexis? Pinning everything on Rick would help them get out of their blackmail predicament, but will it backfire on Christina Corinthos Davis? Facebook fans are speculating about Ava's sudden vindictive streak, and her blood is boiling after Rick's return to Elizabeth has left her feeling resentful. According to Monday's previews, Ava is hinting at a fresh chance to plot with Alexis in an attempt to retake power and get revenge on Rick. Her history of cruel pranks, including as interfering with Morgan Corinthos' medication, points to a plot to blame Rick for their blackmail attempt, which puts Alexis in danger because of Christina's brake-slicing stunt. What are your thoughts? Is Ava creating a trap to keep her own hands clean, or will she give Alexis a fresh start by placing the blame on Rick? Alexis faces an alluring but dangerous offer. Picture Ava sneaking into Alexis' office, her smile piercing as she offers a solution to their nightmare of blackmail. This week, Ava might suggest that they fabricate a story in which she accuses Rick of forcing Christina to do something that was against her will, thereby absolving both ladies. Naturally, this could backfire on Christina, who almost killed Elizabeth with her careless attempt to kill Ava by severing Rick's brakes. Although Alexis isn't often so irrational as to believe she can commit a crime, she has taken chances out of desperation in the past and will stop at nothing to protect her daughters. Will Alexis see through Ava's plan or accept her offer to save Christina? Will Christina be spared, or will everything be doomed by Ava's plan? She finds Ava's plan to frame Rick enticing, but Alexis is probably going to think it's a riskier decision than Ava is making it seem. Will she cooperate to keep Christina safe, wrapping the blackmail mess up nicely, or will she let it fall apart, leaving her daughter more vulnerable than ever and jeopardizing her own freedom and career in the process? Remember that Alexis had to put in a lot of effort to have her law license renewed, and she is already practically out on good conduct. Even though we want Alexis to outsmart Ava, we worry that Christina might suffer as a result. GH Spoilers Weekly Update: Danny and Rocco bond, Willow's amends, and Brit's defiance. This week's General Hospital spoilers for August 4, 2025, are in. Brit Westbourne will likely become belligerent, fans can anticipate. Willow Tate attempts to make things right. Additionally, Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri form a bond. The defiance of Brit Westbourne. Let's begin with Brit, who was prohibited from leaving the resort. The woman initially became aggressive and demanded that her car be pulled up front. But the boss said they could have the meal delivered because Brit was not leaving. Jason Morgan then made a reservation for a man by calling the resort. It just so happened that the right-hand man heard Brit shouting. Jason Morgan's mission. Naturally, Jason is going to Croatia right soon. He must first confide in Sonny Corinthos. He will then proceed to Brit's place. Brit will be surprised on Monday's episode, according to the teaser. She doesn't make another appearance until Friday, when she disobeys orders. Harrison Chase is the subject of a shocking revelation from Brooklyn Quartermain regarding her. The brunette tells her husband that until she and Gio Palmieri can come to an agreement, they cannot adopt. After blowing up, Chase later runs into Gio. I wonder, then, if Chase encourages the young man to reconcile with BLQ. Willow Tate's amend attempt. According to General Hospital teasers for the week of August 4, Willow makes an effort to make things right. Willow's only option, though, is probably to behave herself well and reapply for custody in October. People want to see her recover, not hear her make empty promises. However, I'm not sure if Willow can accomplish that by herself. She still needs substantial mental health care, in my opinion. In the week of August 4, 2025, Anna Devane meets Liesl Albrecht. There's a proposal from Ava Jerome. Molly Lansing Davis and Rick Lansing have dinner together in the meanwhile. His theory is shared by Michael Corinthos. Lucas Jones and Carly Spencer had a heart-to-heart. In addition, Drew Kane makes another attempt to locate Elizabeth Baldwin. Tracy Quartermaine seeks to be dissuaded by Jen Sidwell. Lulu Spencer finds a supporter. Danny also gives Rocco advice. Emma Scorpio Drake, meanwhile, confides in Trina Robinson. Spoilers, will Jason tell Carly the truth about her when they meet in Europe? As Jason Morgan's pursuit of Britt Westbourne leads him to the Five Poppies Dalmatia Hotel in Dubrovnik, where Jocelyn Joss Jacks is on a secret WSB mission, General Hospital spoilers indicate a collision of secrets is about to occur abroad. During a conversation with hotel concierge Pascal, Jason heard Britt's voice, verifying that the individual he saw at the Paris airport was, in fact, Britt. Joss is staying at the same hotel while pretending to be married with Agent Vaughn in order to track down Professor Henry Hank Dalton's tech scheme and its connections. Will Jason reveal Joss's WSB role to Carly Spencer when they meet, or will he keep her cover intact? Jason's hunt runs into Joss' secret mission. Facebook followers are excited for Jason's pursuit after he heard Britt's voice in the background of that conversation, which made his pulse accelerate and prompted him to reserve a room at the Five Poppies Dalmatia. Joss and Vaughn are going there incognito to follow Dalton, but he is unaware of it. Joss' WSB secret might be revealed if their paths intersect at the hotel where Britt has been hiding. Jason might recognize Joss' identity and make the connection because he is clearly still troubled by his lighthouse romance with Britt. If so, will her mission divert him from his own, or will he remain focused on his own? Everything could be undone by a fortuitous meeting. Joss' cover is in danger. Can't you imagine Jason checking into the hotel and seeing Joss with Vaughn, playing the blushing bride? How should he respond to that? Will she see him too, or will he stay hidden and find himself looking into her activities as he's attempting to find Britt? The tension rises this episode as Jason, who isn't aware of Joss' WSB position, feels uneasy. She might compromise her mission against Dalton if he confronted her. Additionally, he may inform Carly, who has no idea that her daughter was recruited by WSB Chief Jack Brennan. We can rely on Police Commissioner Anna Devane to monitor the situation remotely. If she finds out about Joss' WSB status, will she be forced to tell Jason? If so, will Jason protect Joss, or will his devotion to Carly force him to come clean? Will Jason protect her or betray Joss? Everything could change if Jason finds out about Joss' WSB double life during this battle in Dubrovnik. Will he remain silent to preserve Joss' cover, or will he inform Carly about Brennan's dubious hiring practices and how he might have blackmailed Joss? Given that Jason already doesn't trust Brennan and would never want to put Joss in danger, both are definitely debatable. Jason is rarely put to the test by his steadfast devotion to the people he loves and his desire to protect them. Will he keep this secret, or will he reveal Joss's secret life and face the consequences? A discussion about Josh Kelly and Chloe Lanier is sparked by Maura West. Maura West from ABC's General Hospital rarely shares anything on social media. But a picture she posted on Saturday sparked a heated debate among ABC viewers over Josh Kelly and Chloe Lanier's intimate relationship. Continue reading to learn what transpired. The post that generated a lot of reactions on Saturday, Maura posted a picture of herself with Josh, Chloe, and Kristen Vaganos on Instagram. There were clearly a lot of laughter in the group, and it was a fantastic picture. The genuine Ava Jerome laughed a little in her caption, writing, "Overwhelmed with ladies." She then tagged at Chloe Lanier 123, at Vaganos, and at Just Joking. In the comments area, that quickly sparked some debate. Fans have questions. The first query that came up seemed to have a clear answer. Recall that in 2020, Carly Spencer killed off Nellie Benson, played by Chloe Lanier, after pursuing her across the forest. Although her tale allowed room for a return, she fell off a cliff. Although she did not return to the ABC show permanently, her departure did linger for a while. Fans naturally hoped that Nellie would return to the regular lineup after seeing the photo. One of them wrote, "Nellie, come back." Others concurred that she ought to. One response said, "Yes. Carly wants someone to hold her accountable." However, another comment raised additional discussion over Josh Kelly and Chloe Lanier. The relationship debate. When a General Hospital fan questioned, "Why is Nellie in the picture?" a heated argument broke out. Does that imply her return? Chloe Lanier and Josh Kelly are reportedly dating, according to another fan. A new topic was then created as more comments were received. Nellie was in the picture because she and Josh are together, but one of them implied that she probably wouldn't be returning to the show. When another Mora West supporter asserted she is now his wife, things became a little more raucous. Some people had no idea that Chloe and Josh were married, but others appeared pleased if the marriage did take place. More admirers, meanwhile, set out to uncover the truth. According to one claim, Google says they aren't together. As for Chloe dating Josh, Soap She Knows reported a little more than a year ago that Chloe and Josh were spotted together at a Coastal Entertainment's Men of GH men's event, which sparked dating rumors. Another fan dismissed the marriage claims as phony, saying they did not get married. Though the most recent information about Morgan McClellan and Chloe's relationship is more than a year old, some sources assert that they are still together, which causes confusion. What about Josh and Chloe getting married? It's the best-kept secret in the world if they did. It appears that there is no update regarding their impending marriage. Ever since she tore herself away from the ruins of her not wedding, Willow had not stopped moving. The veil she had previously worn as a promise now fell limp from her fingers, streaked with makeup and tears, and her feet were numb in the heels she had never had time to change. Desperate, shaky, and completely broken, she stood at Carly's door. Carly hesitantly opened it, expecting nothing but what she saw, a woman who had fallen apart but was still standing and somehow driven by a single purpose. Without pausing to say hello, Willow declared, "I didn't marry him. I didn't follow through." Carly first remained silent. She just took a step back and let Willow in. The baby monitor on the kitchen counter was the only sound in the house. Amelia's tiny noises drifted into the quiet like a melancholy tune. Carly looked at it, then at Willow, assessing the safety of what she was about to permit, for Michael, for Willow, and for the children. Willow gazed toward the stairs, her hands trembling. Her voice cracked as she said, "I need to see them. Please." Michael emerged into the hallway at that moment, frozen in shock. The hem of her dress was filthy and crumpled. Her cheeks were streaked with thick mascara. Her body shook not only from fatigue but also from being so near the things she had nearly lost. Willow whispered softly, almost ashamedly, "I know how I look. However, I had to attend. I had to let you know that I didn't wed Drew. I was unable to. I simply could not." Michael gazed at her, his heart thumping behind the barriers he had put up since she left their lives. She resembled the lady he used to love, but she also didn't look like her. Now she was haunted. Broken. He said softly but firmly, "The children don't need to see you like this. Not until you've taken some time to relax. Make yourself clean." Willow winced, but she didn't protest. "Think clearly." She just nodded, her eyes still streaming down her cheeks. As Carly offered her a glass of water, she backed into the kitchen, picked up a paper towel, and sat quietly at the table. Drew, meantime, had traveled to the Quartermain mansion, though he was unsure of his purpose. Pride? Responses? Perhaps it was merely background noise to block out the echoes of a love that was never truly his. Martin had been quick to tell Tracy and Cody on the catastrophe that had transpired, and she was already humming with updates inside. Tracy stated without the slightest nuance, "So she left you standing there like a punchline." Charming. She chose, Drew whispered, pouring a drink for himself. "That's it." "Oh, honey," Tracy responded mockingly sweetly, "you haven't even touched the surface." Meanwhile, Nina was pacing her apartment, hardly paying attention to Portia, who was attempting to be the cool-headed voice of reason. Curtis sat close by, his posture stiff, his guilt evident in his refusal to look Nina in the eyes. Nina's voice rose as she said, "I was going to tell her. I was en route." However, she was already aware. She treated me as like I didn't exist. Curtis let out a deep breath. "This is not how it was intended to happen." Nina replied softly, "She didn't. I didn't mean for her to find out from someone else. She put it all together. It was confirmed by your move." Portia reached for her hand. "It would have surfaced anyhow. She may be upset now, but that doesn't imply she's gone forever." Nina remarked, "She's gone enough. I've lost the individuals I care about all my life. My daughter hated me, then she stopped, and now she hates me again. Curtis finally turned to face her, his face etched with guilt. I apologize, Nina. I truly am. Nina answered, it doesn't matter now. Each of us picked a side. And I might have lost her forever. Jason was sitting opposite Liesl in the dimly lit side room of the now vacant wedding location, back in the shadowy nooks of Port Charles. The most recent sighting at the airport had only fueled a thought he had attempted to stifle, as he had been following the threads since Paris. Without introducing himself, he declared, she's alive. Liesl tensed. Are you talking about Britt? I saw someone who resembled her. I pursued the path. I need answers, even though I know it sounds impossible. Liesl silently examined him. Jason wasn't known for following ghosts, but there was a fine line between optimism and delusion. Liesl remarked, she passed away in my arms. Jason retorted, and yet her body was never returned. Liesl's hands balled into fists and she said, just a certificate. If you're wrong, Jason replied, I'm not. If you have any information. If there's even a chance. Liesl muttered, there was a note, as their stillness tightened. I believe the message was intended to help me deal with my loss. However, now, she took it out of her coat. Jason's jaw tensed as he unfolded the letter and looked it over. It was Britt's handwriting. Britt was investigating a vial of serum in a sterile laboratory in a compound on a hill in Croatia on the opposite side of the globe. A buzzing sound came from the door. She had no expectations. The man standing there when it opened was unfamiliar. He had a smirk that stopped short of his eyes and was wearing heavy sunglasses. He stepped in and said, Pascal. Britt slowly put down the vial and said, I guess you weren't expecting me. What are you looking for? I have been observing your work. I thought we ought to speak. Regarding the future. Martin was looking through his office notes back in Port Charles when he noticed a detail in the letter Drew had been fixating on. A moniker. Daisy Gilmore. Martin let out a sigh when the parts clicked together. Oh my God, he whispered. In the meantime, Willow had cleansed her face and changed into one of Carly's robes. She was tired, but she felt quiet now. Michael watched her from the bottom of the steps. She declared, I want to see them. At first, he didn't respond. She went on, I know I made a mess of things. I allowed myself to get sucked into an imaginary world. I was caught in deception and acted as though I was fine when I wasn't. However, my heart belongs to the children. I must be their mother, regardless of what else I have done. Michael nodded. They are visible to you. However, this does not imply that we are safe. Willow said, I understand. But perhaps it means they will be. Molly was pacing wildly in Alexis' living room. Mom, he played me. After playing me, he immediately returned to Christina as if I had never been there. Alexis attempted to speak up, but Molly blocked her. You were correct. He's a tan scammer. Christina stood in the doorway, listening, her eyes wide. This was not how she intended it to go. Her sister felt wounded and angry. The shadow of Christina was caught by Alexis. Something you did. Christina appeared. Molly's voice sliced through the air like a sword, I just pointed out a few things. You ruined it. Whatever it was, Christina said defensively, perhaps it wasn't real. Molly faced her. It was. The remarks hit home, you simply couldn't tolerate that I had something you didn't. Christina winced. Alexis's heart broke as she glanced between her daughters. This cannot continue, she declared. This needs to be fixed by you too. Since there won't be anything left between you after one more lie, Christina wasn't prepared. Persuaded that she could still steer the story, she turned and walked away. The devastation silently grew in the shadows she left behind. In a distant compound overlooking the sea, Britt Westbourne observed Pascal setting a leather folder on the table. There were documents within. Her breath caught as she looked at them. What should I do with these, in your opinion? She inquired. He grinned. Rewrite history. Curtis might defeat Drew on General Hospital in 3 entertaining ways. The majority of fans concur that Drew Kane from General Hospital is 50 shades of scummy. What terrifying plan might Drew devise to get revenge on his former best buddy now that he knows Curtis was the one who informed Willow about his romance with Nina, leading Willow to call off the wedding? Lulling Curtis into a false feeling of security while Drew plays the long game, he admitted to Martin that he had lied when he said he wanted a truce. It appears that Drew will pose a greater threat to Curtis than he has in the past. What fresh tactics might Curtis employ to defeat Drew, then? Here are 3 entertaining scenarios. Curtis and Ava might plot together. Curtis is pals with Nina, and Nina is closest friends with Ava Jerome, who isn't beyond using murder, extortion, or drug manipulation to obtain what she wants. Ava is one of the most dangerous women in Port Charles because of her history in the mob. When it came to the very impossible challenge of passing Drew, Curtis would be better off siding with her. Since Ava and Drew aren't shown together in any scenes, this suggestion would give the writers an opportunity to change things up a bit. Drew would be terrified if she were to get in his face and hiss, "Curtis is my friend. Don't you dare make life hell for him if you know what's good for you." Maura West would be amazing in those scenes, let's face it. Imagine how amazing it would be if General Hospital and The Young and the Restless staged a crossover. Bring in the great Victor Newman. Imagine this, it's cliffhanger time, the last scene of a Friday program. Curtis calls an enigmatic acquaintance. What does the friend end up being? The Young and the Restless Victor Newman, the Great. Victor could have a lot of influence when dealing with a problem like Drew because he typically calls people to help him deal with his issues. Perhaps Victor owes Curtis a favor because he did him one in the past. Curtis is calling to gather information and to ask Victor for much-needed guidance on the most effective strategy for defeating Drew. To find out what's causing Curtis such anxiety, Victor may take a plane from Genoa City to Port Charles for a private meeting with Drew. Victor would most likely scoff at Drew and treat him like a child in comparison to the powerful businesspeople he has already vanquished. He would undoubtedly classify Drew in the same deplorable category as Billy Boy Abbott. Seeing Victor and Tracy together would be a delight, which is another reason why a crossover between General Hospital and The Young and the Restless would be so entertaining. Both of them are fierce, unafraid fighters who will put their lives in danger to defend their loved ones. Additionally, Victor would want to assist Tracy in any way sticking it to Drew given everything she has endured as a result of Drew. Jane Elliott and Eric Braeden are 2 seasoned, formidable soap opera actors. We would have soap opera gold if we combined them into a plot. Curtis might collaborate with both of them to figure out the most effective way to defeat Drew. We would be in soap bliss if only the gods of soap could make it happen that way. However, Curtis has Ava, who can be as strong and astute as Victor and Tracy, to lean on. General Hospital spoilers, Sonny's new love story emerges through flirty meetings and messy romances? According to General Hospital spoilers and updates, Sonny Corinthos' possible new love interest may have surfaced and initially appears to be a mismatch. However, as they say, opposites do attract and frequently produce irresistible sparks. Could a light-hearted flirtation lead to a complex and passionate love affair? Justine Turner, acting district attorney, may have unexpected changes in her plans for Sonny. Fans of GH are aware that ADA Justine Turner has been working hard to put Sonny in jail, but there is a fine line between love and hate. Even though Justine may not agree with the mob boss's unlawful actions, Sonny has hidden redeeming traits. Viewers have already seen multiple instances of Sonny and ADA Turner connecting, despite their continued conflict. Another similar occasion, which might be a major turning point, is approaching during the week of August 4th to 8th. Fans didn't like Sonny's relationship with Natalia Ramirez, so the program ended their burgeoning romance and gave Natalia a horrible ending. It looks like Justine is taking Natalia's place as Sonny's next love interest. Natalia seems to be progressively losing her status as Sonny's next potential love interest. Will Sonny and Justine be in a love tale together? Sonny and Justine will have a conversation that strengthens their bond in the August 6th episode. In the same way that Sonny might find himself drawn to Justine, ADA Turner may be able to see Sonny's softer side and peel back some of his layers. Their relationship may become more complex as these two get to know one another better. Sonny and Justine might not completely trust one another, of course, but it might make things more interesting. There is a certain allure to the magnetic mystery and danger that are present between the two. Sunny may begin to question whether Justine is using him to get him locked up. Meanwhile, Justine might be wondering if Sunny is distracting her from her goal of locking him up. After all, it might not be long before Sunny and Justine kiss. For both of them, this may result in a one-night fling or possibly a more serious and dangerous romance. Naturally, there's a good chance that Ada Turner will only be Sunny's fleeting romantic interest. It is difficult to imagine Sunny and Justine becoming genuinely well-liked by the public or sustaining a relationship over time. Nevertheless, until a better alternative emerges, the authors may continue to examine the relationship between Justine and Sunny. The Rocco storyline offends General Hospital fans. According to General Hospital spoilers, the Rocco Falconeri plotline offends fans, but not for the reasons you may expect. The Rocco storyline offends General Hospital fans. It seems that some viewers find it upsetting that certain people are being saved despite committing some of the most heinous crimes. Britt's return, for instance, has not been well received by everyone. Even though Britt took him and committed a crime, Rocco still refers to her as his second mother. It is obvious that Rocco is curious about the people who created him, despite their lack of biological kinship and their unethical and twisted behavior. Internet fans of General Hospital, of course, had a lot to say about the issue. As someone just noted on X, will Rocco now consider Nicholas to be a second father because he was going to raise Ben with Britt? Or is this restricted to the belief that Lulu is insufficient because she did not bear him? I understand that Rocco is a teenager who is bewildered. However, the audience is being presented with an offensive story as fact. What will Rocco do next? Even though it was unethical and twisted, and he wasn't biologically connected, another critic stated, Rocco having some curiosity about the people who made him exist. I don't have a beef with this. Additionally, there was the following comment, this is exactly how I would expect a typical teen to react to this situation, with a thoughtless, selfish curiosity and black and white thinking. This is not the age for nuanced thinking. He doesn't intend to replace his parents or grandparents, just add to his overall origin and accept that, for better or worse, this is part of his story. When your body is expanding rapidly and hormones are flowing through you, but your brain is still lagging behind, it is unclear if any of this will alter. Fans of General Hospital will, of course, have to watch every single day to see what happens next. Even those who had hoped it wouldn't happen at all weren't prepared for the wedding. Under the deep hush of a mostly deserted chapel, Willow stood in the aisle, more ghost than bride, her feet hesitant and erratic. She glanced about as if seeking a way out of the ceremony, which had fewer than a dozen people and felt contrived and hollow. Drew pretended that nothing was wrong as he stood at the altar, his grin forced. Tucked away in the far corner of the WSB field office, Jocelyn waited outside the chapel for a call from Jack Brennan. It was a brief but critical message. She would have to do something, and quickly. However, the WSB had its own interests in town, and Jocelyn was now formally involved, whether she liked it or not, while Port Charles was falling apart due to secrets and wedding mishaps. Jason had already left before the vows. He snuck out the back and followed the indications that took him to Liesl the instant Willow faltered halfway down the aisle. Despite the unpleasant music humming in the background, she continued to loiter in the reception area, sipping something heavy. When he came closer, she didn't bat an eye. He continued, I have to talk about Britt. Liesl's eyebrow went up. Now, Jason affirmed, now. Michael, meantime, ended up seated next to Christina near the Metro Court pool. As Christina leaned back with her eyes covered behind her sunglasses and her words tinged with a mixture of defiance and tiredness, the blue shimmered beneath them. She whispered, she's spiraling. Michael let out a sigh. Willow, Christina gave a headshake. Molly. On the other side of the deck, Molly and a waiter were engaged in a silent argument about something trivial and pointless. However, the altercation was not over beverages or money. It has to do with control. And she was being tormented by its absence. Curtis sat rigidly across from Nina at a different table, his mouth pressed into a somber line as he finally expressed regret for his actions. He acknowledged that he had told Willow about her and Drew's affair, but he didn't intend for her to interpret it that way. Nina had stopped crying. Her agony had solidified into a hard, cold substance. While Nina stared off into quiet, her face unreadable, Portia hovered nearby, providing hollow consolation. She remained silent about her forgiveness of Curtis. The weight of her response was conveyed by their mutual stillness. Martin Gray, elsewhere, turned back to the letter, the one to Monica. He was troubled by something in its language. The tone was familiar, and the words were purposefully chosen to seem more like a threat than a message. He started making calls after pulling up Drew's name once more. Jason and Liesel's talk took a dramatic turn back at the chapel. He said, "I need to know exactly how Britt died." Liesel's eyes narrowed. "You saw the wounds from the knife. I also saw a security feed out of Marseille that shows someone who looked exactly like her walking out of an airport last month." "You saw me lose her?" Liesel gasped. "That isn't feasible." Jason gave her a picture. She gazed. "Or maybe not," she muttered. Sean Cannon of B&B applauds GH alum Antonio Sabato Jr.'s comeback to the ring. On social media, Sean Cannon posted some images of himself and his friend Antonio Sabato Jr., who will be fighting soon. General Hospital alum Antonio Sabato Jr. and Sean Cannon, who portrays Deacon on The Bold and the Beautiful, have been pals for a long time. Since his last appearance in the spin-off General Hospital, Night Shift in 2008, Sabato, who played John Jagger Cates, has been missed by fans. Cannon recently posted on social media about his relationship with Sabato and the event they are both excited about. Sabato team. So great to catch up with kickboxing teacher Chris Steele at Steele_boxer and at Antonio Sabatoger, Cannon posted on Instagram. Chris started training Antonio and me over 35 years ago. Antonio is preparing for his battle, which is scheduled for the end of September. I'm in his corner. The post featured a picture of the actors with Steele, followed by a picture of Sabato and Cannon, both of them grinning and holding up their fists. On September 27, 2025, Sabato will face Corey Wims in a celebrity boxing battle in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's 2300 Arena. The two had previously starred together on GH in the 1990s when Cannon played AJ, so the fans were ecstatic to see them again. "Antonio is outstanding," one devoted fan exclaimed, while another wrote, "This picture features two of my favorite people." Red heart. The fans enthusiastically embraced Sabato's new boxing venture, with one replying, "Team Sabato, the real-life Italian stallion." In June, sports reporter David Malandra Jr. promoted Sabato's impending celebrity boxing fight on Instagram with a brief video interview. "That's a perfect match for me playing Rocky because I am the Italian stallion," Sabato said in response to Malandra's question about his reaction to being the fight's Rocky. He added that although he was born and raised in Italy, America has given him a lot and that it's a dream come true to be fighting in the greatest country in the world. He dedicated the upcoming fight to his father, Antonio Sabato Sr., who passed away in 2021. The multi-talented actor also attributed his love in boxing to Sylvester Stallone and his Rocky film trilogy. In response to a question about Sly's opinion of his battle, Sabato said he had discussed it with the legendary actor and hoped he could make it. He said, "It means everything to me to fight in Philadelphia, the setting of the original Rocky movie," and added, "Philly is a town that I adore. I adore the Italian community, and everyone in the middle is rooting for our cause." Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.